Hello everyone, and welcome to another Steel Division 2 deck deep dive video. This time featuring a division that just got a pretty significant buff with the latest patch, and that is Panzergrenadier Groß Deutschland. Yep, it's an Axis division that before was rather mediocre. It had some nice unique units, but especially its special infantry unique units were not really competitive. They were cool and all and fancy, but they were not competitive. And now this might have changed, and I think it's time for you, if you liked the division before, to give it a look again and maybe try it out more. It could be actually a competitive Axis division because it's a pretty good all-rounder, and I went in with a pretty much all-in Maverick deck here. As you can see, a lot of veterancy, only one C-phase card. This deck here is supposed to finish the job before the game goes long, and we will have a look in how I try to achieve that with this deck and why I think this deck is suited for that. Starting in the Recon tab, where we have some Aufklärers. These are here to spot enemy anti-tank guns especially, and yep, being your cheap 15-point recons to throw around, have line of sight on the enemy and see what is going on. Then Aufklärer Aufklärungspanzer 38T with a 20mm, giving you some 20mm and some Recon X as well, together with a radio that can help out your radio mortars that will come in the artillery tab to be more accurate as well. Pretty cheap for a quite well armed and armored Recon tank. 35 points here. It's relatively slow for 20mm. It's not a 20mm autocannon card, but brings the radio and brings a bit more frontal armor, which can be helpful against anti-tank rifles and so on. So quite nice as well. Veterancy curve here is decent. As I said, I try to up-vet as much as possible in this deck, where it is okay, just so to get a bit more cost efficiency out of this and be more aggressive and more effective on the offense with this. Same in B-phase here, from 10 to 8 though, but I feel like I never bring 10 of these around, though this is obviously rather rough. As I said, it's here to really just pressure the enemy in. If you want to be a bit more on the safe side, you might want to go with the 10 here, but I go with the 5 because this is an all-out attack deck. In the infantry tab, now we come to the special units, and these are the Sturmgruppe. The Sturmgruppe with only MP44s and the Sturmgruppe with an MG42. And these were pretty much overpriced on 25 points and 30 points each, as they are only 8 hit points. But now they are standing at 20 and 25, and they have a solid availability. And at 300 meter range now, they can absolutely shred. They're still a bit hard to use. I'm still not quite fully on par with how to use them, but I feel like if you use them correctly, these now can shred. And as you can see, a lot of veterancy here as well. I use one of the cards in A, one of the cards in B, with 2-star veterancy here even. As then I feel like MP44s really come into their full power. And then another really nice unique unit, or nearly unique unit, is the SDKZ 251/17D, which is a 20mm AA truck that you can get as a transport for leaders and MGs in this deck. The only other deck that has this is the Strachwitz, Panzerverband Strachwitz, and these are the cheapest 20mm AA you can get. For 30 points, you get a 20mm AA truck, which usually costs you more, like 45 or more for a 20mm, mostly 50 and more for Gepards and co. So you get this cheaper here, you get this as a transport for your leader, so you don't even have to pay an extra card for it, and you can use them relatively effectively against infantry as well. For 30 points, they can be pretty worthwhile as close infantry 20mm support as well. They don't have any AP shells, so you can't use them against enemy vehicles, but against infantry, they still do the same as, for example, the Aufklärungspanzer would do. So this is quite nice. Obviously, Panzergrenadiers being around as well. You have 3 cards with Panzerfausts, which is nice, so it gives you a lot of Panzerfausts on all your infantry as well, so the enemy has to be a bit more careful around your infantry. Sadly, no Panzerschrecks like in Panzerlehr, but hey, you take what you get. And then, tank tab, really versatile as well. 4 of the standard German tanks here as choices. Sadly, not too many cards outside of the Tiger E, but Tiger E now got buffed with the patch, like second to last patch. So these are pretty nice as well now, as they have a good veterancy curve and are a bit cheaper. And Stuk 3G, really solid tank here with 2-star veterancy. These absolutely shred. Great rate of fire, great accuracy. Some leader tanks around as well. And then the Tiger E here to help out push through a lot of Tigers. I feel like for an aggressive deck, they are better than the Panther. Panther, if you want to be a bit more long game, the Panther is better, but it doesn't quite get the same cost efficiency onto the front line. It doesn't have the side armor of the Tiger that can... So it easily gets penetrated with side shots. When moving forward, it gets easier killed by artillery and so on if moving forward by mortar fire or so. So I'd rather use the Tiger E here as a breakthrough tank, just like it was intended, and try to achieve the points I need with it. I need to get the victory here with them. And then in the support tab, you also get a lot of good choices. Maybe even the Flammenpanzer here could be a good choice if you know how to use them. I'm not that amazing with them, so I rather choose the cheap, same priced SDKZ 251-9D, which is basically your replacement for 234 recon vehicle in the recon tab. You pay 15 points less, but you don't have the optics, and you don't quite have the speed either, but you have the same gun, and that's quite nice. 100mm of penetration with the heat rounds, and you get a lot of heat rounds actually. Accuracy is the issue here, but if you get enough of these around, you can even kill off Shermans and co, and you can get 3 of these for less than a Sherman, so at that stage you can kill them easily, and against infantry they're absolutely amazing. 12 rate of fire is great. HE shell does solid damage, so as infantry support they absolutely shred. Once more, you get the 20mm recon supply, no, recon trans, no, what? The 20mm AA transport truck here for your MGs, which is nice as well. The Flammenwerfers, because you want to have some units in BMWs to capture you a bit of ground in the early game. And the Grille in B phase to achieve the extra HE support. Maybe you could move them in A phase as well. I guess we could just move them in A, as often you need the 2000m HE in A phase. Befehl's Tiger as actually a more expensive leader, kinda, and that buffs more, that can go to the front line, and then maybe use them aggressively as well, is the idea behind this. Maybe you could choose a different unit here, but that's how the way I tried. And then some supply in B phase to help out there. Anti-tank, you also get some good options. You get Martyr 3s that are really solid Martyrs. Not quite the cheapest, but with a Pak 40, they are really good. They have a good amount of shells. Pak 40, always good. Pak 41, Gerlich, interesting unit, but I feel like you don't need this amount of penetration. You have enough anti-tank around that. I don't feel like Gerlich is too useful, especially for its price point. I'd rather take a Pak 40 that has more range and some HE shields that maybe can help out with that a bit as well. Anti-air, you get the best mid-range anti-air in the game. The Flak 43 is coming for you. So yeah, get them in A, get them on the Möbelwagen in B with solid upvet. So you get 4 of them. As I said, nothing here is meant to be longer than holding you out longer than 25-30 minutes. So 4 AA should be enough. You don't have the money to invest more money into AA anyways. It just is supposed to support your fighters that will then try to hunt down enemy attack aircraft that try to maybe cluster your tanks and so on. Artillery also is here for the breakthrough, and that is best done in my eyes with radio mortar trucks that have some autonomy as well. That's why we go for the slightly more expensive one. All mortar half tracks with radios got a bit more expensive, as all radio mortar units got 5 points more expensive, but I would still say for 105 points they're still fine. And you have the radios in your deck, you have the battery Führer, you have the pioneers, you have the tank leaders, you have the Aufklärungspanzer here, so you get a good amount there. What you maybe could do is actually choose a Beobachter instead of... Then you get one less Aufklärer, basically. but Bowbutters are the same, just with radio. For the same price. You lose 1 availability, but as the slot cost is the same, I guess this might be better. And then your radio mortars can really go to town. And then, yeah, the air tab is just 1 card of Fucker Wolves. Air tab, really a weakness of this deck. Both the bomber units here are not too amazing. It's at least a D5, so it can defend itself a bit with 20mm. Bomb low tiers are decent. Bomb low tier is also good, but it has bad resilience, so it's not the best Fucker Wolf fighter bomber. So, really a solid deck, and I enjoy playing it. I love the buff. It gives its unique unit a bit more reason to be broad. I still don't know how good these are. Like, I feel like they should be solid now. I don't think they're the most amazing units, even at 20 points and 25 points respectively, as 8 hit points is still mediocre. But if you use them correctly, I would say they absolutely can pay off big time now. Just, yeah, you have to understand that this is not a full long range, but also not a short range unit. You really want to use them in weird line, like mid-range line of sights in towns, and in mid-range line of sights at 3 lines, and light forest at 3 lines, so that they can catch enemy CQC units there, or can get engagements against enemy long-range units in those segments. At least, yeah, you are down to only 1 weapon. You don't have to extra micro with these here, and these have decent firepower with an MG42. So yeah, they are better for defense, and these are better for attack. And that's what I try to do with them. Attack here, and then defend the advantage we gained in A phase with these in B phase. Panzergrenadiers coming in half tracks here, in a good amount as well. Some on B phase coming in Opal Blitz. But yeah, some half tracks for the push, always nice as well. That's why these come in a half track. And Sturmgruppen and Pioneers try to secure some advantage in the early game. So yeah, a pretty nice and unique deck, the Panzergrenadier Division, Großdeutschland. Yeah, just the name is a bit off. Yeah, but that is what it is. I like my name better. Anti-tank guns, all good. AA, all good. Like, everything here is quality, and with the redundancy, even more so. It should be pretty cost efficient. As I said, you just are on timer, and I will see if I can make this work in a ranked game in the next video. So if you are looking forward to that and you don't want to miss it, consider subscribing and consider leaving a like if you like this video, this insight into a nice unique division. And yeah, I hope to see you all next time. Bye bye and have a great day.